This episode starts with a loss. No edits, no excuses. Sancuary Keeper does exactly what it's designed to do. The best way to break down this boss is to look at its battle behavior and patterns. Now this sacred beast, sent by Yunalesca, only has 40,000 HP. Not bad at all, but here comes the base loop. Sancuary Keeper will always open the battle with the phone on wings, and that'll always come first. And that'll inflict statuses like confusion, sleep. There are other ones, but those are the main ones we're afraid of, and that'll deal a decent amount of damage to us as well. The second turn, it'll do a normal attack, and it'll target the highest HP character in the party. Then it'll use another attack. So far pretty simple, right? It'll get a little bit more complicated as we go, so let me know when you drop out. Then the fourth turn will be the mana breath, which will deal a massive magical damage to one character. And having shell against that is crucial. Then we get into the fifth turn check, and this is HP based. If it's above 50% and its armor broken, it'll use protect. Any nasty statuses like poison, darkness, it'll use Asuna. No statuses, if it can't think of anything, it'll use Karaga instead. And then after all that, it'll return to the phone on wings, and that's the main loop. Above 50% HP. Then what if it's below 50% HP? We get this flowchart on the fifth turn. First thing it does, it checks reflect status. Is it under reflect? If it is, he'll cast reflect on a party member and it'll target the lowest HP there is. Sancuary does this because it's hoping to bounce spells back on itself. Now if it's not under reflect, it'll cast regen, quote-unquote, before Karaga. Now this is where I don't fully understand the notes. I'm not sure what before means. And then it'll return to the photo wings. Now I do have to mention I did see double Asuna by Sancuary after mana breath, and I believe it was still above 50% HP. So just to throw a little bit more confusion into this loop, I did see double Asuna while it was under reflect. But let's not worry about that too much. That's the main loop Sancuary will be using. Now wait, there's more. This wouldn't even be complicated if that was all we have to consider in this battle. Now next thing, slow and haste interactions. If Sancuary is hit by slow, it'll counter with the haste. But before it casts that, it'll check reflex status. This is where Sancuary plays it kinda smart. If it's under reflect, it won't cast the haste on itself because it would bounce into the party. Instead, it checks if there's a possible reflect on a party member and it'll cast it to that party member to bounce the haste back on itself. So slow isn't free here. You have to respect the response. Now Sancuary of course has to have a counter attack, and this is the silent killer. After being targeted 3 times, there's a 20% chance it counters with the tail swipe. If it doesn't happen, that chance increases by 20% per hit. By the 7th hit, tail swipe counter is guaranteed. It'll cause heavy delay, removes haste, and completely breaks your momentum. So what actually works against Sancuary here? Well, there are a couple statuses to apply. Darkness reduces physical threat, and darkness can be a huge factor, especially because Sancuary uses the normal attack 2 times in a row in the loop we covered, so it'll waste so much time during that if it's just whiffing. Next, poison. This will force the Asuna out on its 5th turn. At least on the first loop, above 50% it'll do that. And poison ticking of course pressures the possible healing Sancuary might do. Next, slow. Now be careful with this, it'll trigger the haste, and remember the reflect status checks we talked about. Next and lastly, the reflect controls Sancuary's healing and spell bounce. And we'll get to the importance of this because we have to avoid Sancuary getting a regen on itself. Once you see all of this together, Sancuary stops being unpredictable and starts being readable. Now that we know the patterns and the things to look out for, let's see if we can survive it. Now, most runs didn't even make it past phone on wing. Sleep would proc, Yuji turns into a sitting duck. And Sancuary just comes in with an easy pickup. Now go ahead and protect against sleep. Confusion lands, she spins in place until HP bar hits 0. The sleep is worse than the confusion. In the beginning of the battle, I prepped against sleep, and just to save time, I started recording after I survived the photo wing. So the photo wing came out, no sleep, no confusion. That alone already feels like a win. So let's start the clean at them. So right after surviving it, I answered back immediately with Poison Fang to get the pressure on Sancuary. Then follow that up with the smoke bomb to shut down physical attacks I'm almost out of these smoke bombs, but this is exactly the fight to use them. Sancuary keeps missing. Poison begins its work shift. 2000 damage per tick. Now it's time for more preparation for the bigger hits. So Protect and Shell goes up on UG. Here, Stamina Tablet was already active. I used my first turn in the battle to throw that on UG. So I heal up to utilize it since we're going to be needing it. And now, we can start dealing damage. Fire Gem out. That's going to be solid 3000 damage. If you've been paying attention to the pattern, Mana Breath is next. With buffs up, 1500 damage. Alive. That's all that matters. Next, I switch to Shaman Tarts for Auto Potion ability. Now, is this a little bit risky? Yes, since I have to go against Auto Wings eventually fully open for Confusion and Sleep. But I wanted to give the Auto Potion a shot here. Next, I do something important. I throw Reflect onto Sancuary Keeper. Poison Fang goes right back in since it did heal that away with Asuna. And go ahead and try to heal it now. You're under Reflect, Sancuary. First Tail Sweep counter comes out, but it misses. Just Lulu's evasion doing its job. Sancuary panics a little, casts Asuna, which bounces off Reflect and lands on me instead. Poison is here to stay for the rest of the battle. Now, even though I did my homework with the Sancuary's patterns, I'm not sure why it did Asuna back to back. That stays a little mystery, at least for me. But I'm not gonna complain about that since Fire Gems are coming out. Just keep wasting turns, Sancuary. Back to square one, Photo Wings. This time, Sleep lands. But now, Auto Potion is equipped. But the first physical attack comes in. And it will hit. 721 damage. That wakes up UG immediately. High Potion triggers automatically. No downtime. Looks like as long as I go against the Photo Wings with Stamina Tablets double max HP, I will survive it no matter what. Here, when the Sancuary comes in for its second physical attack, I wouldn't mind a hit here. It would push me down enough to trigger Auto Potion, and that Auto Potion's healing would be enough to survive the next Mana Breath. Now, getting closer to the end, I want to push the battle there fast. That's why I started using Shining Gems for their massive 6k damage rolls. Now, the reflex status on Sancuary is massive. No regen, no Asuna, not even straight heals with Kuraga. This battle is already over. Sancuary Keeper goes down. A brutally strict boss, but once you understand the pattern, you can outplay it. The reflex setup mattered a lot here. In other attempts, if Sancuary Keeper managed to cast regen on itself, the fight became borderline unwinnable. I've seen ticks as high as 3,850. On this attempt, it never got the chance. No regen, no Kuraga. Sometimes the win condition is simply denying the boss its tools. For drops, we get a Arc Sword, half MP cost, dropped for Titus, but really it's meant for Waka, cause I'm gonna be selling that. With that done, I take a moment before descending, because what's waiting below is a city dead for 1,000 years.
A city dead for 1,000 years. A city I had to see with my own eyes. The end of Yuna's journey. The last chapter in my story.
Reset time! Time to reset this whole challenge, go back to Botch Temple, and not forget the Stamina Tablets this time. I'm kidding. The game rolls straight into the iconic Zanarkand cutscene. This is one of those points in Final Fantasy X where the journey feels heavier. We've climbed Gagaset, we've beaten the Keeper, and now the path only goes forward. Gameplay-wise, Zanarkand Ruins doesn't introduce new fiends yet. Same lineup as Gagaset, so I focus on looting chests. I set up a SOS Haste on UG, and there's something I want to test against Starkplan here. On the way, I pick up a MP Stroll Targe. For me, that's really not that good. And then an old friend shows up, Darkplan. First, silent. Then I bring out the Zombie Touch weapon we farmed from Behemoth earlier. One hit, Zombie Darkplan. And this unlocks another route entirely. Zombie plus Phoenix down. That's it. GG's. At this point, Dark Clan is actually starting to feel like a comfort encounter. Which is wild, because this thing used to be a problem. On the way towards the dome, Behemoth shows up. But this one is no issue. All I gotta do is dream on, puzzle on, guard on till it falls. I finally reached Xanarkand Dome. A little too comfortably, maybe? First up, Defender Z. I think Evade and Counter should handle this, right? That's what worked against Defender X, right? I think I got it. Oh, Haymaker! I forgot about that move completely. That's over 5,000. Reality check. This one hits harder. Is protecting up. Is guarding up. Let's just say, not only that, there are more Forbidden Machina waiting inside.
Journeyer up the long road, name yourself.
Oh, me? My name is Ultimate Guardian.
Your eyes, my dear, show me the long road you have traveled.